you, Elle? You've been pretty recently with this, so.
It's pretty new. I'm a newbie.
No, she's a baby gang.
I feel like I'm blushing. Okay.
No. In terms of people telling me that type of stuff, no. No, I think that well, okay, I'm sorry. And if they did, I would not be with them anymore. And I think anyone who has tried to closet me in terms of being an actress, I clearly would show them the door. Or that beanie.
Yeah, that's right.
We call them toques in Canada.
Toques, sorry, yeah, so Jasika, what about you? You've been doing this for a really long time. She's still super young. I just mean, like, you've been in really popular shows for quite a long time. I was just curious, you've been out for, like, a decade?
Yes, I will be celebrating 11 years with my wife, Claire, actually.
Yeah!
I had already been with Claire for like a couple of years before I booked Fringe, and my manager, who is a gay man, did have a conversation with me, and he asked me, do you want to be publicly out? Which I appreciate. I think he knew what the answer was, but he was just trying to make sure that, he was creating basically a safe space for me to make sure I knew like what I was getting into. And the idea of kind of like reneging on this relationship that had started with this really amazing woman and was still developing, like that was maybe year 2 or 3 with us. And it just seems so ridiculous. Like I was so proud of finally finding someone that I loved and was building this life with, that it was insane to think of taking that away and going backwards in any way. And I wanted to show her off, honestly. Like that's what it feels like when you're in love, is you want,
where is she? I want to show her up right now.
I think she's eating tacos.
But
please
did you see Kristen Stewart on Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
She's like, I'm gay as fuck. Sorry, can I say fuck?
You can. So Allie, we spoke recently about your desire to play and create queer characters. It's probably the best part of the podcast. It's amazing you have to listen to it. But there are some actors out there that are the queer actors that are afraid of being pigeonholed into playing only queer characters. And I'm pretty sure I know your answer to this already. But for the benefit of the audience who hasn't heard the podcast, are you at all concerned about that for yourself?
I am not concerned at all.
No, I think that, I think I've taken on I don't know if it's my personal mission in life or my career to play as many queer characters as possible. And,
That's a really big thing for an actor to say, so let's give it to them.
No, I recently, the last couple of years, I've been cast in something, and you and I spoke about this. If it's not stated that she's married to a dude or whatever, I will talk to my showrunner and talk to them about this character being queer. I don't think it's fair to assume that every character is straight, and so I really like having those conversations with the creators of the shows that I'm working on, and it's going really well so far, and I'm going to keep doing it, and that's my little mission in life.
Jasika, so Suicide Kale has gotten a lot of great buzz and reviews, and the entire main cast is made up of all queer women. Am I correct? Right. So how did you get involved in the film, and how do we, as an audience, I mean, you have a captive audience here, how do we support it more?
I gotta tell you, it's a real shame that it wasn't screening this weekend at the film festival. I thought that it would be. I would have loved for you guys to have seen this film. I made it with my friends. We realized in our group of friends we had a writer, a director, and a photographer, and we were like, we could make a movie, right? And so Brittany wrote maybe 15 pages of an outline, and we improvised everything in the middle of those pages. We knew where the scene would start and where it would go, and I was working with like two really talented comedic improv people. And we filmed it in my house over 5 days. The whole movie cost like $5,000, and all of that was like post-production for, you know, editing and color correction. It really, you know, we talk about how we want to see indie cinema more, but there's so many indie movies that have like $1 million budgets, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be another tier then. Like, what about, you know, the people that are creating shorts or, you know, stringing together YouTube videos.
You're taking the web series approach almost.
Exactly, yeah, to tell this narrative. And we really wanted to, like, we really love the Duplass Brothers films, even though, yes, they are problematic, but I think we love the premise of them, that they have a core cast of talented actors that they always work with, that any ridiculous idea they come up with, they make a movie about it. Like, I think that's really inspiring, and obviously those are some white guys. Like, you know, there's a reason that they get to make all those films, and we wanted to know what that would look like with some brown people. There are 4 main characters in the film. 3 of them are people of color, and I love it so much. And, we can keep checking in with Lindsay, the white woman in the show, being, are you okay? Is this feeling safe for you? Is this cool? And
Lindsay's awesome.
yeah, Lindsay's really great in the film. And another important thing for us was that us being queer and gay or bi or whatever our character is in this particular film is not really a part of the storyline at all. Like, you could sub in any characters, you know, any gender for these characters and get the same story at the end of it, because I think there's this idea that when you have, you know, a gay or a queer cast, then you gotta deal with some gay themes, and really, like, gay themes are just like love themes in general, you know? I think that everybody can find some relationship to people who are falling in or falling out of love, who are dealing with loss or regret or whatever it is. And so we just wanted to make a universal movie that was really funny, and it's called Suicide Kale. Well, so we won the Audience Award at Outfest, and they ended up picking our movie up to distribute it. So we're going to be streaming on iTunes like in the next couple of months. But if you go to suicidekale.com and get on the email list, we will not bombard you, but we will keep in touch.
I just want to repeat. She and her talented friends got together in her house and made a movie that won the fucking Outfest Award for $5,000. I don't know what will.
I don't mean it, but that's what I've been saying. I mean, I only got here today, and I'm so sad. I wish I was here the past few days, because this thing fucking is awesome. You just said it. A couple of things I just want to say. You said plugging in, like, relationships. It's just relationship. You plug in anybody. But also, got your friends together. Literally, you know, people shoot on their iPhones. I mean, you can do anything. Get your friends together, people you want to work with, and make something happen. And look, all the way to Outfest, and now it's going to go on iTunes. I mean, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Just, you know, just believe in yourself and tell your story.
Wouldn't it be pretty awesome if a bunch of you did this, and next year at ClexaCon, your films premiered here?
We're making a movie.
I'll be looking for them. So, Elizabeth, you were on pretty much the most groundbreaking series for the lesbian, queer, bi community ever, The L Word. What was it like being part of such an important pop cultural moment?
Oh, where do I start? You know, when I got the job, I knew that, because I came in the 5th season, so I knew how it affected the population all over the world, really. and how it affected women and gay women and just kind of everyone got together. I'll tell you, everybody watched it, right? I mean, everybody. It wasn't just, that's what you say, you play, everybody watched it because there's just these friends that got together and you watch them as friends getting together, watching other friends together, right? I mean, it was just as simple as
Like
that.
lesbian inception.
Lesbian inception, exactly what it is. But I felt so honored, actually, I really did. When Eileen, I went and I auditioned, and I was the only person to audition. They had auditioned everyone else. Want me to tell you a quick story about that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I will. So Eileen Shaken, I saw her at a poker party. She's the creator, everybody knows. Okay. So I'm at a poker party, and 2 days later, she calls me and says, "Hey, I'm doing this. I want you to come in for this character for the L Word." And I said, "Oh, well, I thought it was maybe a one-day thing or something." And I said, "Well, I'd love to come on. Do I have to show my tits?" Because everybody on the L Word does, all right? You have that in the contract. You have to show one time. I said, "Oh, no, absolutely. I didn't even know what the character was." So she said, "Well, you have to come tomorrow morning." I hadn't even gotten the sides yet. The sides are, the scene. And I said, "I'll come in." She goes, "I'm flying in. There's going to be a few people in the room, and then I have to fly to Vancouver." I said, "Okay." So I go there, and there's only one other person, and it was Alicia, who played my lover, Cindy. She was going for that part. There's the two of us. She goes in first. I go in second. I don't know if you remember any of the scenes, but the...
Of course we do.
Okay. The very first scene that we actually shot in real time was that VIP threesome scene. You guys remember? Welcome to the L Word. I had to do that scene in that room. So I literally used Eileen Shaken and the casting person. And I almost took my shirt off, but I didn't. And I got the job. So about a week later, I flew to Vancouver and we started. And it was absolutely amazing. And everyone was warm and inviting. You wouldn't think, I had to, sometimes you go, it's me against all of them, so I have to kind of keep my distance. But it was hard to. It was just so much fun. And what you saw on screen, on camera, was what it felt like being there. I mean, really, everybody was amazing. Great acting, Pam Grier, everyone, Jennifer, everyone was phenomenal. And it was the best experience I've ever had to date. Thank you for that little thing. Do you need this one?
Oh, God! Thank you. I'm so sorry, guys. It's never happened to me before. So, Rachel, I had the pleasure of meeting you today, and you were just the loveliest. And you were telling me about a new project. Also very awkward. So you were telling me about a new show that you are working on, and I want you to tell everybody about it because it sounds really, really cool.
Yes, it's not out yet, but it probably will be out, I would say, in like the fall. It's called Dating Zoe. It's about a girl named Zoe who goes on 100 first dates and then ends up falling in love with her best friend. All female direction, female writing, all LGBT characters. And, I am Zoe, so look for it. I think that it's going to, I'm going to tell you this unofficially, but I don't know if this is for sure yet. I believe that it's going to be picked up by Netflix, but don't repeat that anymore.
That's in between us and everyone on YouTube, okay?
And everyone on Twitter and everyone on Instagram.
Okay? YouTube, keep your mouth quiet, okay? All of you are creatives in addition to being performers. Do you think that's especially important when you're a queer artist, to create your own opportunities and your own voices, so to speak?
I gotta say, I feel like that's just important for like artists across the board. Just because, particularly in this industry, when you're working in Hollywood as a writer or an actor or whatever, you realize how not that valuable you are sometimes. And obviously this is with like really big projects with networks or whatever, but sometimes you can feel so little and so replaceable. And then I think like an added thing as being a member of the LGBTQ community, you kind of feel beholden to them at some points. Like I feel like they set it up for you to feel like, you know, you need them. And the truth is you don't. You know, you can exist as a whole person whether you're on a TV show or whether you're making a movie with your friends on an iPhone. That doesn't matter. But I think what is important about having other outlets of artistry isn't like necessarily to fall back on it, but to be the sole creator of something that comes from your heart, whether it's through like illustration or making music or being a writer or whatever it is. You gotta have something that's just yours that nobody else has a say in. I think that that is what has helped me at least survive in this industry. When I have been frustrated with the roles that I have been offered that just say open ethnicity because they just want somebody who's not white, but they don't care what they are or what they look like. Like there's so many things that you end up dealing with. And also as a female character, you know, when you get these character breakdowns and you'll see like Mark, he's tall, he's fast, he's funny, he played soccer for 6 years when he was in elementary school, he has a brother named Jonah, and they did this weird thing on a camping trip that they don't talk about anymore, and then you'll see the breakdown for Rebecca, and it'll be like 20s, very pretty,
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous, so sexy, doesn't know it. And that's it, like you don't have any kind of history, like they want you to create this whole character out of nothing because they don't care. I really think that a lot of these projects, they don't care. And so you have to come into it with so much, you have to bring it your all. And I think that the best way, you know, to make use out of those characters is to show up with a really good understanding of yourself and what you can do and what you're willing to do. And also know that, you know, at the end of a really shitty day that hasn't been very fulfilling, that you have other things in your life that bring you joy. And, you know, they don't even necessarily have to be artistic, but I think in general, like, that's just what we do, is create art in some way. And so, yeah, I'm not sure how important it is as a queer person, but I think in general as an artist, we really do need to have those outlets.
That was pretty amazing. So does anyone else, right, you're supposed to say,
I feel like you read my diary.
Alan, we all read your diary, you left it backstage.
I do write in the diary every day. Yeah, just to, you know, when you were speaking, it just reminded me of just starting out and I played, I think, about 20 waitresses and secretaries. And
No names.
Just
Waitress
no
one.
names. But I was so sassy, I'd go in, I'd be like, I've named her. Her name is Sasha Greenstein. And they're like, great, can you just do it? You know, and I recently, you know, before I got the role of Betty McCrae, I played a lot of like real, not a lot, but you know, I used to have very, very blonde hair, and maybe, I don't know if you've experienced this, but apparently if you have blonde hair, you can't think for yourself in the film industry.
Very true.
And so I just, you know, trying to make these characters intelligent when they're just sometimes written and they just make you cry the way women are written. And these breakdowns that we get on every single audition, it's just, you know, offering up what you can bring your heart and your intelligence to these roles. And, you know, I think it is really important. I mean, you know, I've produced and I am trying to create stuff, and, you know, it is having an outlet that is just for you, and I think that's important. Like, I agree with everything you said. Like, for me, I like cooking. I'm not that great at it, but that's like super relaxing, and no one can tell me it sucks except maybe people who eat it. But, you know, and like writing and like singing and just like, you know, being happy when you're, you know, not doing something where you're trying to make money, you know, and it's like acting. Would I act if no one ever paid me again? Absolutely. I do. Sometimes I just, you know, I'm a real goofy guy, and it's just like my greatest joy. And I think when you start worrying about who's going to pay you to do your art, it becomes really stressful sometimes. So it's really cool to make your own stuff.
I was just going to that last sentence right there. If you're looking for, whether it's in payment or for validation from someone else, that's not even in your circle of people that you see every day and that you have in your life, let that go. Because I'll tell you, so I'm in this new in Skirt Chasers from Tello Films, and I bring that up. You get to watch it. It was great. I had such a great experience. It's awesome. It's a father-daughter. I never, you don't really see that very often. So it was really great relationship, father-daughter relationship. But I did it for Tello Films and Kristen Baker. Hi, Kristen over there. Amazing. She's director, writer, producer of everything. And so, but she and I became very good friends. And so, even in your friends, you can find things. Like I've shadowed her to direct. I haven't made any money directing. I've just not yet. I don't even care if I do. I had a great experience doing that. I would do it for free. I would act for free. I would write for free. I would be around my friends and shoot something and have the best time. So don't feel like you have to find some sort of validation somewhere else. You can do anything. It doesn't even have to be in that industry. It can be anything. Like you said, cooking for your friends. I have games nights at my home, and we have the best time, and all we do is laugh, and it's people who make 20 million a picture, and people are friends who are still struggling. And it doesn't matter because we all get together and we have such a great time together, and we talk about things, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you want to go shoot something next week? And why don't we do that? And so be around your friends and find a way to do it with that. Don't be beholden to going and, oh my God, I gotta go find that audition. I don't know what to do about this. I'm gonna, 2 lines. Screw all that. I mean, really, do what you want. The landscape for it is available to you. She and I are doing a radio show together, and we're not getting paid for it. We're having the best time ever. So just, you can find ways to do anything. There's YouTube, there's everything now. And just have fun. Again, even if you're not in the industry, do it. It's an outlet. It's a blast. So just don't be beholden to anyone else and feel like you have to be validated by anyone else.
I also think it's probably easy for all of us to say because we're like doing it professionally as well, but it is true. Like I've got 5 things that I'm writing that are in going into production, but I've been working on them for like 7 years, not getting paid. You know what I mean? So it really is. I know, you're all looking at us being like, yeah, but you're all getting paid to do it. but it is. I really a lot of us have worked hard on stuff that we aren't getting paid to do, and things that are really passion projects for us, and things that are really truly stuff that she's making for $5,000, and the radio show that we're doing that's I promise you'll hear more about very soon. But it's the stuff that we're doing, the stuff that I'm working on. Literally 7 years I've been writing a script that I've gotten nothing for, and finally something is coming of it. So it's just get out there and do whatever you want to do, whatever it is. If that's if it's picking up garbage, who cares what it is? It's just get out there and have something that's important to you and really fight for it. And I do think it's important for LGBT people to have a platform in the arts, because I think it's important for people. I know that when I watched The L Word, there was nothing like that, and it made me feel like it was okay to be that way. And I think that it's important for us to tell those stories and write those stories and be those characters, because there is someone out there that doesn't think it's okay. And if they look at us, then they'll say, oh, that person's like me, and it is okay. And that's
I know you guys wanted some questions, so line up behind the pole if you would like to do that.
I've heard that 1,000 times.
About a nickel for every time I said that. Just this week in Vegas. All right, I'm gonna give my microphone and borrow one of the ladies. Oh, thank you.
Hi, Ali, huge fan. Watch your Bob Girls and Lost Girl. I think you're absolutely awesome. Also a huge fan of Marvel and DC. And I loved your character in Legends of Tomorrow. I think most of you And my question is, will we ever get to see her back on Legends of Tomorrow again? Because I think she made an important impact on Katie Lotz's character. So,
Thank you. I mean, I've had so many people ask me what happened to Crystal this weekend. I really don't know. You know, I mean, I'm like any actor.
I think she's at ClexaCon.
Yeah. Here, Crystal's here. Crystal's at ClexaCon.
She's with Cindy.
Cindy and Crystal, where are you?
I mean, it's a time travel show. I'm always hopeful. I've heard nothing, but maybe we could write some letters.
yeah, what are we going to do to get you back on?
I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm sorry, I got nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you, though.
Hey, this question is also for Allie. Lovely tip, by the way. Go Canada.
Are you from Canada?
Yeah, I spoke to you yesterday. I'm from Victoria.
I'm not wearing my
It's
glasses.
okay. It's all good. You probably spoke to so many people who love you. Yeah, so you mentioned that playing Betty and Crystal, various gay characters, helped you figure out your own sexual identity. I'm wondering if Betty McRae's own journey to self-acceptance sort of resonated with you while you were going through that. Like, for instance, sorry to talk so much, but you go from 104 with her saying nobody would ever want to be me to 203 when she's sitting in church crying with Leon talking about God loving you and accepting you for who you are, and then 208 when she says I'm not trying to be a hero, I just want to live my life. Like, that's such a powerful journey for me as a queer woman to see, and I'm wondering if it had some sort of an impact on you coming to terms with who you were.
You really know the show.
You're an amazing fan.
Awesome. I think it did have a profound effect on me while I was filming. Like, I would come home sometimes and just sob, or like I'd wander just Toronto crying. So I don't know if, another actor was playing that role and they weren't queer, if they would be doing that. But looking back, from the very first time I read the pilot, I was like hysterical. It just like hit me so deep, and I didn't really get it until after, and I wasn't ready to get it, and it is pretty meta, and I feel like that could just be like a movie in itself. And then,
Absolutely, couldn't you get Betty today?
so yeah, it wasn't really obvious in the moment, but definitely looking back, it was pretty deep. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, it's great to have you all here. My question's for Jasika. I was a huge fan of Fringe, still am. Though obviously, though, the show wasn't exactly overflowing with, I think, any LGBT content. And before I knew anything about you as a person, I always thought, just my own headcanon wish was, I wonder if maybe they just drop in a girlfriend for Astrid. And I was just curious if you had opinion during the show about Astrid's personal life, sexuality, or and if that influenced you, and I'm just curious if I was picking up on that or just pure wishful thinking on my part, and just your thoughts on that.
Maybe my queer energy was just like emanating from my body through the television waves to your homes. Astrid was an extremely underused, underwritten character, and I can say that because I watched the show. And it was a real shame. Like, it's kind of hard not to draw parallels to, who the actor is as a queer woman of color and the fact that she doesn't get a storyline. I'm not saying that that's why, but I think that in general, as a member of this community, when things don't happen and you see that they happen to other people outside of the community, you have to wonder, like, is there a link there? As far as Astrid's sexuality, I actually recently came up with a headcanon for her.
Do tell.
Okay. I think that Astrid is ace. I think that she's asexual. And here's why. Because I've been reading a lot about it. Because I didn't know that much about it, particularly at the time that we were filming. And so many people would come up to me and say, when is Astrid gonna get a romantic character? And like, that's not a substitute for a well-written character. Just because a character has a love interest doesn't mean that they're necessarily well-rounded. So I was thinking, but she doesn't have a love interest, and everybody on the show at some point does. So what if that is it? Like, she doesn't, that's not something that she wants or is interested in or she needs. And the fact that people still love the character, even though she doesn't have a romantic interest, and even if she was, pretty underwritten, I think is really interesting because, as somebody who is not asexual, I see the world in a very specific lens, and everything is related to my experiences in it. So it was a really weird thing to step outside of what is familiar and comfortable to me and think, oh yes, well of course people can have like really rich, fulfilling lives without, a partner, a romantic partner of some sort, or a love that is, written in the way that it is normally written in media. And we just, again, it's really hard to watch TV and not see a character have a love interest at some point. And so I was discussing this with John last night, actually, who's going to be heading a con in LA called FemSlash, I believe, TGIF, FemSlash, that you all should check out. But yeah, that's my headcanon for Astrid, so thanks for asking.
So I had to slip in late, so I apologize if you guys already addressed this, but hopefully my question might be a little more specific. As a writer and independent creator, as well as someone who is new to taking acting very seriously, it seems, I don't know a lot about like the legal side of things, but it was brought to my attention that like when you're casting, you legally can't ask, you can't cast specifically for a queer actor because you're not allowed to ask about sexuality, and that you have to kind of work around that in the way that you're casting. And I was just wondering if you guys have thoughts from your experience about being out in the industry and using that, like if you want to use that as to really broadcast that, if there's any kind of like standard for that, or just that interaction between like casting to get more queer people playing queer roles.
Are you asking, is it better if they circumvent that and ask you if you
Just
to get more,
like in terms of like the way that you're presenting yourself as an actor, if it's something that you put forward or not, or if you think that there's any way that there could be some kind of better communication between different sides?
I think it's like this. I think you be the best actor you can be. You work at that, you work at your craft, you really work hard at that, and then you can go in and be any character you want, whether it's a gay character, whether it's a straight character. And if you're gay and you go in for a straight character, if you're the best actor in the room, hopefully you're going to get the part. Is that what you're asking? Or are you saying it's I'm trying to understand what you're asking. Is that what you're saying?
I think you're trying to ask, like, how do we get more queer people involved in things without but there's a legality issue of saying, like, are you queer?
Well, there are, sometimes there are just, people put it out there that it's the whole thing is gay. We have a gay writer, a gay director, we're going to have gay characters, we're going to have, there's that. There's like there's a lot of content like that out there. Telefilms does a lot of that. So I think that you can, listen, I know Ellen Page, and so when she came out, it didn't hurt her. She got a lot more work on other things that she loves. Let me tell you, right now, there are a lot of characters that are gay that are the strongest characters, whether it's television, whether it's film, whether it's a web series, those are the strongest characters. So, you know, I think that I don't know how it'll help just going in if it's a particular, like if you're talking about a studio kind of thing, just don't do that. But if it's other individuals and independents and it's with friends or people you know, go in and say you're gay. Say you're gay and say, you know what, I can do this role because I'm living this role, let's do it. I see nothing wrong with that. Go kick ass in the room.
I know there's also, I have like done some casting where they're able to actually say like if they're looking for like a same-sex couple, like they're definitely able to say that. Like I don't know if they can say like lesbian or bi, or I don't know if they can pigeonhole it that much, but I know that they can say like if they're looking for like a same-sex couple, they can post that online and say that. But I do think that when you're in the room, you're not allowed to say. But I don't really think it matters. I don't think it should matter. I think it should be a thing where I think it should be a world where it doesn't matter if you go in and you are gay and you're playing a queer character or you're not and you are. You know, yeah, I think it should all be. Can't we all just be one? You know what I mean? Like let's all just be. It shouldn't matter at all, right?
So I'm so sorry. This is our last question. Okay.
I wanted to know how you guys feel about a lot of movies with like LGBT characters. It always sort of ends up being rated R. Like the movie, if you've seen Imagine Me and You, that movie is rated R. And I think if you've noticed, there's just like one kiss, one little interaction, and suddenly it's like a really bad thing, and it's rated R. When other movies, they have a lot worse, and it's just PG-13.
They don't have sex in that movie?
And there's no cursing?
No.
I see.
Wow.
What?
Like British cursing.
They make out on some flowers.
Isn't that lesbian sex?
I mean, who doesn't scream, "You're a wanker, number 9"?
You're a wanker.
I've never realized that. I didn't realize that. Did you realize that?
I did not realize that. Why do you think that is?
The patriarchy. And with that,
That's
Jasika ended this on the best note ever. So, thank you, Jasika. Thank you, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, all of you. This has been an amazing 3 days. I am honored to be amongst all of you. I want you all to have safe travels back home wherever you're going across the world. And let's be back next year for ClexaCon. We love you!
If we just stay here, maybe we never have to leave. I know. We don't want to leave. We don't want to leave.
You can't move us. We refuse to go.
Water's right.
Water's first.
All right, guys. So that's it. This is Sunny. Sunny's signing off from Plexa. Sarah. You got Sarah? 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 What? Oh, okay. Okay, there she is, guys. That's Sarah Ramirez. Yeah. Sorry, guys. That's all.